Hey guys, it's Thunder and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. Have a good day. So today guys, I'm going to be discussing what will be considered a controversial topic, but this is something that I felt I needed to do and talk about the current state of No Man's Sky and its procedural generation. Now, just before I get into this topic, I wanted to sort of announce that what I am doing is a monthly podcast. So sort of a similar thing what MZK does, where he does his week in No Man's Sky. I'll be doing them once a month, where I'll just talk candidly about the game, unscripted, and just give my my points of view about the game and any news related to No Man's Sky and anything I think that would fit into the video. And just to clarify, before anyone wants to downvote, I'm not doing this because I'm a hater, and I'm not doing this because I want to shame Hello Games, okay, or put the game down, because it's far from it. I want to offer constructive criticism and give feedback on a game that I truly love, because I've played this game since launch, okay? I've got thousands of hours in this game, and I truly love No Man's Sky. And like many of us, I want what's best for it. So let me just get into this. So I'm not going to go talk about pre-release. I'm not going to talk about the older builds. I want to talk about No Man's Sky as it is now, okay, and where I feel Hello Games needs to go with the procedural generation. So No Man's Sky right now is in the most healthiest place it could ever be, okay? I think we could all agree on that. We've got a game that has got a multitude of features that a lot of us would have never expected, maybe even wanted, but we've got it now, okay? We've got crossplay, we've got fleshed out multiplayer, we have expanded base building, we can tame creatures, farm creatures, we can own a fleet of frigates, right? We can do missions, we can do all sorts in the game now. The core gameplay is fleshed out pretty well. I still feel there's a problem with the gameplay loop, which needs some fine tuning, but it's getting there. Now, I wouldn't want to take all that back for a far more varied universe, but lose all the features, because I think the features that we have is what makes the game as well. I think we can agree on that, okay? However, for someone who's played so many thousands of hours in this game, I have felt like the minority of the No Man's Sky community, it's not a majority, it's a minority, who feel that variation has took a back step for other features. I understand why, okay? In a business perspective, Hello Games has to get modern day features, as I like to call it, into the game in order to entice a wider range of players to the game, okay? I think they had to change the style of the game in order to entice a general gamer to this game, okay? A lot of people weren't a fan of the pastel 70s retro sci-fi look that we once had, okay? I understand that. I totally understand it. And I actually really do love the look of current No Man's Sky. It's very visually pleasing. The quality of the textures are far better than what we had before. If we look at the assets themselves, the quality of them is fantastic. Our player models are incredible. You could be out in space and just look at it and go, wow. There's so many positives to take of the current build, without a doubt. But the variety of the biomes is a problem for me. And I found there was a funny thing that happened to me the other day. I was recording footage to make for some videos. And I was in a star system that had 6 planets, and 2 of those planets had 2 cold, they were both cold planets. So I wanted to do an experiment. So I landed on both of the planets, explored them for about 35 to 40 minutes. And other than the slight terrain differences, the assets were identical. The fauna, to my surprise, which was really a bit of a surprise, were pretty much the same. We had these toadhead type fauna that were both on the same planets, and there was these bouncy jumpy blob creatures, which we've all seen them before. We even saw them pre-release, the ones on that Fleck planet, toxic planet, those sort of ones, but they were both on the same cold planets. And for me, that broke the immersion, that broke my sense of wanting to explore them. But the reason I did it for 35 to 40 minutes was because I wanted to make a point to myself as well as to the community that there was a sense that there wasn't anything different to the planets. It didn't feel unique. There was really nothing for me to want to spend any more time on these planets. So I headed off and carried on recording footage elsewhere. And this is where, for me, this is breaking the immersion, okay, because it becomes this repetitive cycle. And Grant Duncan, the art director at Hello Games, pre-release talked about how they didn't want this to be a thing in No Man's Sky where you had this sense of repetition, and where, you know, you would land on a planet and go, oh, this is a cold planet, or this is a hot planet, oh, and then that you head off and go somewhere else because you're hoping to find something different and fresh. Unfortunately, in current No Man's Sky, this is exactly what's happening, and I'm not going to say everyone's going to agree with me on this, but I think a percentage of the community would agree with me on this. I think there is a repetitive pattern with how the biomes are structured in current No Man's Sky. I think if we look at also Dead Planets as well, they are pretty much identical, same color terrain. There's no day-night cycle on them anymore. They used to be. There used to be bodies with water on moons. That's no longer in the game since Next. It seems in some ways Hello Games... There's a good point that Captain Steve made. I'm going to bring up this point. He said we've got a lot to do in the game right now, but not a lot to see. And I couldn't agree more with him on that one. And that's exactly where we are now. It's flipped. So what we had at launch was there was a lot to see, but not a lot to do. But now it's flipped, you know, completely the other way around now. And we need to try and get in the middle. Hello Games need to try and get that into the middle. Now, there's a speculation going around, of course. There's a lot of speculation about how Hello Games have been working on a procedural generation update for quite some time. There's been discussions about the old build tests that was on the internal depot since 2017, and only until the beginning of this year, it was removed. And now we have a DLC, which we have no idea what that is. I digress anyway, I digress. But we need it to where I can't expect miracles from Hello Games, right? I can't expect a game to have 18 quintillion planets and absolutely every single planet be completely different to the next. I think that would be completely unrealistic. But what I would like to see from Hello Games is an expansion of the terrain, you know, the variation, the more sort of alien-esque terrain with crazy plateaus that we used to have, you know? Maybe a mixed match of what we have now with what we had then. But just more assets on the biomes, you know, a sense of this repetition, okay? Because we've got a lot of repetition in current No Man's Sky, especially with the biomes. We have to be honest about this. There is, you know, for someone who's played this game since launch and experienced every build, it's visually pleasing current No Man's Sky. Don't get me wrong. Like you'll see in these screenshots that I'm using for the video, beautiful screenshots, beautiful imagery. Okay, I'm not denying that. But the problem we have here is that I've seen a lot of these planets before, okay? They look very familiar. I didn't really have that problem up until Next. I really didn't. I spent a lot of hours in this game just exploring, and I had a lot of satisfaction from that. Now, we need this game to get to a point where the procedural engine is let loose, and it's let loose to the extent where we are surprised. And I'm not saying constantly surprised, but if we refer back to 2015, and I think it was when Sean Murray was on a American TV show, and he talked about being constantly surprised when he's landing on a planet. Unfortunately, I'm not feeling that with current No Man's Sky. I'm not constantly surprised, and I'm rarely surprised. I go, wow, yeah, that's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I go, yeah, this planet's really nice. But I've seen the assets before. I've seen the fauna before. You know, I've seen the same sky colors, which I think, from my understanding, we only have 6 to 7 different types of sky variation in current No Man's Sky. And that is immersion breaking for me. It really is, because it's this repetitive pattern that Hello Games apparently wanted to avoid. Now, design choices, the game has evolved and changed since launch. We can all agree on that as well. But we don't know why, okay? Is it because of features? Is it because of hardware restraints? Now, am I saying that Hello Games should come out and tell us why? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we need to see something where we are surprised in the game. I don't feel it anymore. I really don't. And I know it sounds sad, and I know it sounds like I'm being entitled. I'm really not. There is infinite potential with this game. And Rayrod himself, I'll tell you what, I've got so much respect for this guy for what he's actually done to the game, you know, in the sense of overhauling the game. He's creating a multiverse, which is a piece of software that you can regenerate the game every time, and it's basically infinite variety, effectively infinite variety. And he's already said that this can be done on consoles, current gen consoles, but we've yet to see this. And this is where I feel, if we want this game to stand on its own two legs, in the sense of that pillar of the game, exploration and variation, we need it to get to that point, okay? And we need it to be able to stand on its own two legs, where we're not crying out for variation. And I've seen these posts everywhere. I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen it on comments on my videos on YouTube, I've seen it on other YouTube content creators saying the same thing. Now, there is a minority who would completely be against that, and who would be completely against what I'm saying right now, and disagree with a lot of us who could play about, you know, wanting more variation. And, you know, I'm telling you that I respect your opinion as well, okay? I'm not against people who are scared of resets and don't want them to happen. I'm not against you if you feel that everything is fine with the game right now, okay? But if you're someone who started the game with Next or Beyond, of course your experience is going to be a lot different to us who played the game since launch. It's going to be very different because you haven't seen those builds. But then hindsight to that, then there's going to be a lot of you who played the game since launch and actually love what you have now and think the variation is fine now, and I respect that as well. But we need this game to go to a point where we're not relying on the updates for things like this. And I'm really hoping, especially with the weekend mission lore, there's a lot of indications that we're going to possibly get some sort of overhaul. And I'm really hoping that is the case. I am keeping my fingers crossed about a lot of these things, you know, but at the same time, I'm not expecting it because I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm doing this because I feel that it needs to be said, and a lot of people are not being vocal enough about it. And what I mean by vocal, guys, I don't mean complaining and spamming Hello Games' Zendesk with saying, give us more variation. What I mean is, guys, just making a video on YouTube, just discussing it. You know, there's a few people there that I've seen have done it, and they've been, in my opinion, they've not been critical in a horrible way towards Hello Games, but they've been downvoted, and people say, oh, you're ungrateful, you're entitled. I think without constructive criticism and feedback, you're not going to help the game. You're not going to help improve it. So I think that if we're vocal in a respectful way, in a respectful manner, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Now, what would I like to see? You know, I mean, there's been a lot of suggestions, a lot of great videos made by NMS content creators and posts I've seen on Reddit and so forth. But, you know, I think what we need is the procedural generation opened up more, expanded more. You know, obviously the super formula talk has been going around recently about the patent coming to an end and maybe Hello Games be able to use it. There's been speculation about Hello Games have been working on a older build for a number of years where they've been trying to get it perfected, you know, to release for this year. There's all sorts of speculation, but I feel that, you know, in the sense of features, with that, what would help? Yes, orbital mechanics and stuff would help. You know, more biome types, but again, it comes down to you can add more. But once you've seen it, it becomes repetitive, right? So it ultimately comes down to the procedural engine and expanding that further. And yes, of course, adding more to it, but in the sense where the procedural engine is let loose. And that is where I think it will succeed and tremendously benefit the exploration aspect of the game. You know, I feel that we do need more biome types, but again, we need the variety with that. You can add as much stuff as you want, but then it becomes the same again, and then people say, oh god, we need more biomes, we need more this. And it's where I think if the super formula becomes a reality, and it is something that Hello Games have been working on, I think that will, I'm not going to say fix, but that will resolve the issue. Because if what was discussed pre-release regarding this super formula, what its potential could do, and from Grant Duncan's talk at GDC 2015, that would really pretty much kill all this complaints and criticism and concerns with that variation aspect of the game. But again, guys, it's my opinion. It's a video I wanted to share. I don't know if you all would agree with me. You're probably not, but I'd love to hear your feedback. You know, as always, I always reply back to you guys. I always appreciate your comments. But leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, you know, about this and where you stand on it. and what you would like to see if you do want improved on. But guys, I'm going to end the video. I hope you have enjoyed this monthly video type thing I'm doing. But yeah guys, I'm going to end it now, and again, if you have enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, that would be lovely as well. I'm going to sign out now guys. You have a great day and keep safe. Take care. Bye bye.